Hey Deepali, nice to finally sit with you and talk about, I mean, AI things and what we are discuss about in the Think AI event. So, how's your feeling today? Firstly,
I'm feeling good. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
good. Thanks for asking. And yeah, so we are good to go with, some content like some information about AI and about your experience in tech field and
Yes.
working with different clients. That's awesome. Actually, you have a
Thank
good
you.
profile.
Thank you.
Okay, so actually, whoever is coming to the place or coming to your end, so what is your introduction about yourself?
Yeah, I did not actually start in the tech space. I had a bit of an unconventional roller coaster ride up to here because I started in medicine. So I came to the US at a very young age. And at that time, I was very interested in becoming a surgeon, actually. So I was always around since I was a teenager around doctors. I was working with hospitals. Uh, that mean to say I was always around the healthcare field, right? So, and because of that, when I started towards high school and college, I was doing a lot of research. So I got to participate in like computational biology competitions, and one of them is called iGEM. So when I was in high school, I started work and going towards college. I was working on a lot of research projects with faculty members, my teachers, professors, and one of them struck out to me because we were using computational tools like protein modeling, DNA sequences, blast algorithms to solve a very big problem where we use horseshoe crabs and they have this blue blood and it has components to clean like our medical devices, things like that. So we were trying to engineer that in the lab and we went on to nationals and internationals for it. So, and we got the bronze medal at the iGEM competition. And I think that's where I started to realize the value that tech brings in sustainability and the healthcare space. So my dad is an engineer, so I always had an inkling towards it, but I loved my medicine field. So in college, I ended up actually doing double majors in computer science, software engineering, and biology from the University of Washington. And my advisor initially thought that I'm a little crazy because within 4 years, it's very difficult to do these two hardcore STEM degrees, but I did it. I still kept doing research. I did cancer research, and I would volunteer at the hospital, and I also got to run and be president of many clubs and have a life. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. In the younger age, you got the bronze medal.
Yeah.
That's really congrats.
Yeah,
first
well, it
of
was
all.
a team effort, but yes.
Oh yeah, that's cool, nice. Interesting. And then you like shifted from medicine to tech.
Yes.
So how that happened? The most of the people they do like medicine to dental, medicine to doctor like
Yeah,
that.
nursing.
Yeah, nursing and
yes.
kind of things. But you did in the medicine to tech.
Yeah, it's
How
a
did that
completely
happen?
different
Yeah.
field. Yeah, so like I said, I always had that inkling, and then now I had a degree. So I did work in medicine even after graduating college for a bit. But what was interesting this time is that I was working full time for the first time. So when the doctor sees a patient, right? I was a medical assistant. I was trained by the senior medical assistants, and I was certified in the state on the job. So I would need to understand what each patient's need is. I would go see the patient before the doctor. I would need to understand what tests they need, what vaccinations, and then come out of the room and then talk to the doctor and give like a quick 10-second summary, right? And then the doctor would only see the patient for a few minutes, but they also have to be very efficient and they have the medical expertise. So from that, I realized the healthcare system also has its own flaws. And for example, getting approval for a medication, working with insurance, a lot of doctors were writing notes and they didn't have time to scribe them in EMR systems like Epic. Or you were looking at delays in getting patient care. You were being referred to one doctor to another, and you were just stuck in this railroad for a very long time without getting any outcome. So I realized that, and the other part actually, which is very important, is that we have immigrants. We have people who don't speak English. We have people who have disabilities. And I would see people missing their appointments. They would not be able to understand the treatment given to them, or they would not be able to talk to the doctor in a way that they feel comfortable, even if there's translators. I would translate for a lot of patients, and they would come and hug me and say thank you. Now it finally makes sense. So I realized I think we need to make changes on a bigger level, and that's why I realized I had to go back to tech and fix systems that are broken, whether it's the AI functional consulting like I'm doing or strategy consulting. So then I started networking, applied to jobs during a very bad 2023 market, and then I got this role at Asoft, and now I'm working with KPMG on digital transformation projects.
Yeah, that's great. Like, I mean, the people like medicine to tech, it's take a long time to transition to tech because its tech is different, wide action. So, I mean, what do you do at the KPMG and the ASOF? Like, what's your role of responsibilities? Is it more about AI or more about machine learning? And can you explain that?
Yes. So with KPMG, since it's a big four accounting firm, so we have three main divisions, I would say, where we have audit, we have tax, and then we have advisory. So we are like the fourth division, I would say. We have our own engineering core in-house team, where I'm part of the Nexus team. So our clients are actually employees who are in these different divisions, right? Because we are creating applications, modernizing applications for them. Now, I have a very interesting role because I'm right at the intersection of the tech teams, the data teams, the engineering teams, the software developers, and with the business leaders and stakeholders. So I have to speak the technical jargon, but I also need to understand the corporate timelines, project timelines, resources, things, and the requirements of the business overall. I come more into the cloud space. So a few years back, or I would say over a decade ago, we had several applications in like .NET, which is not even taught in colleges right now. We have more towards Java, SQL, Python, C++. So these are what we call legacy applications, and we're trying to modernize them, where we're trying to move them to cloud, and we're trying to fix a lot of the broken systems they may have. Like for example, when I look at the data schema, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of employee data, right? And this, I'm also working in like the risk and the financial side of applications. So I'm very serious, and what I also need to make sure is security, because when you're working at a financial firm, you cannot have any gap for error. So I'm working with security models, frameworks, and when we're moving this to cloud, I'm also working with a lot of cloud technologies. And then we're migrating these systems to different platforms, like I work with Datadog, Splunk, SuccessFactors, and now I'm working with the Microsoft platform, which on its own is a whole suite of applications. And because of that, I've learned about working with not just different people, which is always great, but kind of being that person in the middle of the business who needs to understand both sides. And I think it comes with its own challenges, but I love it.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, that's a good experience in the data and particularly in the AI field. Okay, Deepali, I mean, what kind of a business do you see most often? And how do you know if there is a AI opportunity?
Yeah, so I think I can categorize them in three different areas. So first time of businesses are businesses that are hearing the buzzwords AI, and they want to implement it in their systems, but they have no idea, they have never worked with it, and that's totally understandable. That's a lot where I come in as well. And then second are businesses where they have a bit of an idea about what AI does, but they're not quite sure if it would work with their systems. So they understand AI, they know it can be used, but how it can be optimized for their specific business needs, again, that's another big hill that you have to climb when you're working with them. Third are the most interesting ones, because they have a whole plethora of knowledge bases about different AI systems. They're aware about the models, but the problem is sometimes it's very hard to prove that there might not be a good ROI based on their knowledge. Okay, so then there's three ways. I have a way of seeing, hey, if we are looking at a specific use case for your organization, let's make that decision first on the organization level. So first thing always we remember is that a small business versus a large enterprise like KPMG, you have different needs, correct? You have a different level of frameworks in your organization. You have a totally different number of employees, divisions, right? So the use cases kind of get divided more. But the good thing with small businesses is that you could use very similar use cases across different frameworks, right? So first thing I see is ROI, okay? If putting an AI agent for one of your frameworks or automating things for you, would it benefit you when it comes to your, let's be honest, money? Are you going to have more productivity with employees, or are you gaining any financial outcomes from it? Okay, and then one thing that I really like looking at is the feasibility. So this is where we also bring in a lot of data engineers, because we have to see, hey, if your systems cannot integrate the new AI frameworks, you are probably not a candidate for use cases. I think you should go to something more like, first, fixing your systems, right? Being able to make sure that your technology is up to date. And third, that are your people willing to work with it? Third is the most important one. It's the governance around AI tools, right? Do you have practices in your organization where we can train employees? Are you ready to adopt it? And do you have, for example, security models or practices in place? So for example, if you're bringing in an agent, it doesn't mess up what you already have, and there will be controls to make sure it doesn't go out of the way and do things it's not supposed to do, right? Lastly, I would always say that if you're a CEO or business owner, you know your organization better than a consultant like me or an engineer like yourself. You have to see what is the main outcome of your organization. Don't expect AI to fix things that are broken. That's not what he's here for. It's a companion. It's gonna give you automation. It's gonna make things faster for you so you can focus on building.
Okay, cool. I mean, it comes to like trends. So what trends did you notice when talking to the leaders and CEOs or an executive leaders to adopting AI?
Yeah, so I have been seeing a lot of different patterns and reactions from people. One of them, I think, which you and I can agree on, is being uncomfortable or fearing AI. Especially there's founders who might not come from technological background. And definitely, we think that AI is only going to impact tech or software related businesses. No, it's coming in finance, it's coming in healthcare, it's coming in any consumer market. Okay, so first reaction I always get, oh, will it impact me in a negative way? Will it take the jobs of all my employees? And I wonder, where is it coming from? So we have a lot of social media, output coming and directing people in that way. So there's a lot of negative emotions around it. And I think my answer to that is, understand AI works on pattern recognition. Okay, you are the owner of your data and you train the models. So there's actually a lot of ownership you have towards AI. So this fear is more aggravated towards social media that gets unchecked, or people's opinions who might not even have a background or have never worked on an AI project. I understand we need governance, but why are we putting a new technology in such negative bubble? It doesn't make sense to me. Secondly, I think we overestimate what AI can fix. I think we're treating it also, there's this whole another opinion that we're treating it almost like magic, that it's gonna turn its wand and just change your system. No, for example, the legacy systems that I work with, we have some functional, for example, pipelines that may be broken. We have outdated data, right? We have functionalities that these older systems cannot do. So first, we are moving them to cloud. We're cleaning up the data. We are making sure we know the employees who are using it. For example, if you have an application that was built 20 years ago, it might not necessarily even be doing things that it's supposed to do anymore. Don't expect AI to come and fix that framework. I think you as an organization or tech leader needs to fix it first. And lastly, I would say there's also my favorite type of people who have done research about AI. They're very confident. they want to adopt it, and they know exactly where in their leadership this would work. So those are my favorite to work with. And then we explore different, use cases on where it could be used and how it would affect with their business ROIs.
Based on the AI research, AI concepts, I see in your, post a lot in the LinkedIn. So why you started, more active in the LinkedIn, posting like concepts of AI and the comments on the AI posts. So how that happened and how's the experience in the LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I think AI was just one conference that I posted, but I have been working in the AI space for over 2 years. Even in university, I was working with healthcare use cases. My friends and I, we even developed an app to help consumers to understand products that are good for like their skin or health. I wouldn't go too much into detail, but I already knew about it. And then, for example, when ChatGPT came, I think a lot of my non-technical friends had AI, on their lips. So what I realized also talking to my friends, working in the healthcare field and talking to people during conferences and at my work, is that there's this fear around AI that it's only for innovators, it's only for people who are in the tech field. You need a data science degree to understand it, or you need a computer science, or you need a master's, PhD. The list goes on, right? And the reason I have my page, and I'm aware there's a lot of people posting about AI these days, but I wanted that someone, let's say it's a grandmother, or let's say it's a high school student, or let's say it's a nurse working at the hospital, they don't have time to go to thousands of courses that are online. My goal is that when they come on my page, they can get knowledge of AI to be able to be worse in it. We have to make sure that technologies are not only kept for a specific set of people in the society. That's how a drift occurs socially, right? One set of people have so much knowledge about one technology and the other don't understand, and then what happens? They fear it, right? So I want to take that fear out. I want people to understand technically what it means, but in simpler terms. And maybe we could have use cases from people who are not in the field. I think we need those opinions, right?
Okay, for someone watching who wants to learn more about AI, so what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so that also depends on the audience, right? We have people who are business executives. They don't have to code in their day-to-day jobs. We have engineers who heavily want to build models or fine-tune models. And then we have people who have nothing to do in the tech space and they want to learn about it. I would say for everyone watching this, please learn how data works, how AI works, how much control you have in the AI space. Learn governance. Okay, for business executives, I would say definitely talk to your engineering teams and try to meet with other business leaders. So conferences are a great way to do that. And do little courses on them online, just smaller courses to understand what Gen AI is, what's deep learning, LLMs. I would say for engineering people, I think that's more hardcore. You might have to go to school, you might have to learn how to navigate with the different ML algorithms we have. You might have to learn how to fine-tune a model. You might also have to learn how to choose the correct data. But for everyone else, I would say learn what AI is, what are the different sections that we deal with. We have robotics, also we have parts of LLM that should be understood, how it works. And definitely something that we're all using today is generative AI. Learn. I always tell people when they ask me how do I get started on AI, I say, if you have a recipe that you would like to make, tell ChatGPT, hey, I have this in my fridge, can you tell me what I can cook with it? You are putting the data in, it's just recognizing patterns and is delivering an output. So that's your way to start learning. And lastly, I would say learn prompt engineering, because these models are as good as the questions you ask and the data you use. So definitely these are some of my tips, and maybe you can follow me as well.
Okay, why do you use some AI projects? The recent ones are big projects from the Meta or Google, the big product-based companies. They're failing the AI projects. So with the advanced techniques we have, advanced technologies, advanced models we have, why?
So I haven't worked with Meta or Google, but I have worked on some of their platforms. right? For example, with Microsoft. And what I'm seeing is that I think people are underestimating the data that they're using. Okay, if you're using data that's unbiased, that's not been properly categorized, and then how are you making sure the data is correct, or how are you teaching it? Is it unsupervised? Is it supervised? How are you choosing these learning methods? Are you doing, which machine learning algorithm are you picking? I think people don't do a lot of research on that. There are just some businesses that I was working with, I saw they were so excited about adopting the AI. They're like, yes, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna get the use case, we're gonna talk about the ROI, and if the ROI is great, we'll get to the implementation stage. It does not work like that. And the second problem that I'm seeing is they're spending a lot on engineers. We need to learn, we need to know how the data is being trained, right? But the second part of it is, let's say we have great data, it's been very well categorized, there's no biases to a very large extent, and we know exactly how we want to train them. Then the second part comes the control checks. What's the governance? Maybe did we test them in a sandbox? Did we run enough checks that it's working with the applications that we have right now? And is the use case doing what it was supposed to do? Right? So for example, one big issue we have in tech is hallucinations, where the data will start spitting out information confidently, but it's incorrect, or it's biased, or it's completely far from the truth. And that's a big issue that we're dealing as well.
Okay, I mean, why this much of hallucinations happen in this current world?
Yeah, so again, it comes down to data. What type of data are we inputting? If you're going to put data that's biased and then you get results that are biased, are you going to be surprised? Probably not, right? And then you have to make sure, if you are working in the healthcare space but you don't have enough data, because maybe you couldn't get it because of the HIPAA rules or the PHI, right, where you're not able to get a lot of patient data because you don't have access to it, well, you've put out the model, but it doesn't have any way to see. The only way models can spit out information is because they have consumed a lot of data, they have seen the patterns, and now they're able to see how these patterns come together and give us an answer, correct? But if you don't have that data, or it's not relevant to your industry or use case, or it's not enough, you're not going to get the answers, or it's going to start, it has to give an answer, right? And the second thing is, what it's going to next do is, hey, I don't have enough data on this, but you know what? Let me use statistics, because it's a probability game. It's going to see what is the most likely correct answer based on the data these people gave me, and it'll spit that out. So that's another option. So you might think it's a correct answer because they sound confident, right? But it's far from the truth, or it's close by, or it missed the whole context. Right? That's why we say don't do homework using ChatGPT, because you might get wrong answers. Third thing is governance. And I think we're seeing with a lot of companies that the reports that some employees are working on, especially people are earlier in their field, I would say don't rely heavily just on the internal tools that your work has. If you're drafting an email using Copilot, do you not check it before sending out to your boss? Right? Do you not add your own tone or emotion? So why is it that with AI, we're just letting it manage everything that we've been doing for years or months? So there needs to be governance. Even fine-tuning is important with the models. You need to make sure that people actually understand what it's doing, and then you're testing it in the same way. So lastly, I would say governance, and always have a human checking what the model is doing.
That's perfect. Cool, Deepali. I mean, nice conversation we had, almost an hour. So it's really nice fun, because a lot of things you will learn from you to, teach everybody in your LinkedIn connections, or my audience, for everyone. So if in case the people needs your help, so how you connect? How do we connect and you connect?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn for the same reason. I think it's great to have a medium or your own profile, but you can reach out to me on Deepali Juneja. That's my full name at LinkedIn. And I would love for input on what else I can talk about. I've been technically now an AI functional consultant in this space. So I'm working with a lot of industries, healthcare, consumers, finance, even things like laundromats. on how to automate that. And now we're working with Let Quickly, which is there for property management AI software. So at ASoft, I'm working with a lot of use cases. So if any business leader, technical, non-technical, is looking, they can reach out to me. And my LinkedIn also has my email.
Yes, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you.